here this morning, and appreciate your presence. And we'll go ahead and get started this morning because it looks like we've got a fairly heavy schedule here. At this time, I'd like to ask y'all to rise with us at our invocation. Please bow with me. Lord, we just come before you, thanking you for the much that you do for us, Lord. And Father, we just ask you to be in our midst here this morning. And above all, Lord, give us, the ones that are making decisions here this morning, the wisdom to do that. And Lord, the strength of our convictions to carry out. And Father, we just ask you as always to forgive us where we fail you. In Christ Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Our pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Commissioners, this morning as we adopt our agenda, we have under new business, please add number 9. The extended moratorium near Lake Meriwether, the building there, we need to also discuss it. With that being said, I hear a motion we adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? So passes. We have before us several minutes here. We have the August 27th, 2018 special call meeting at 5 p.m. We have the August 28th, 2018 regular meeting at 9 a.m. and we have the August 29th, 2018 special call meeting at 9 a.m. Do I hear a motion we accept these minutes?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor then? Okay, getting ready to hand the audience as I normally do. I have Mr. Randy Roberts standing there in the back. Randy, would you like to comment with us here?
No, sir. Just want to say it's always great to be in Meriwether County, and y'all doing something right. Everybody's here to see it, so I'm excited about that. But I appreciate all the hard work y'all do, and just love dropping by and seeing how the sausage is made in rural Georgia. So, thank you, Chairman.
And I may have elided over your name there. It's Randy Robertson.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, sir.
close count.
All right, good to see you. Starting with our municipal comments. Oh, Miss Jane did? Okay. Oh, okay. She did. I'm sorry. Well, maybe let me go ahead and start with Mayor Glover. Mayor Glover.
Thank you. I'm having
Well, let me see. Don Cuddy, I have you right there from Luthersville.
Well, Mayor of Luthersville just said...
Oh, she did? Ginger, go ahead.
Maybe she can speak for us.
Hey, I really don't have anything to discuss. Thank you for the offer.
Okay, no problem at all. Doug Manchester.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have to report this morning.
Thank you.
Okay, have I pretty well covered everybody now as far as the municipalities that are represented? Okay, I believe we have. Okay, our constitutional officers, and right now, Chuck, I see you. You're obviously standing.
I don't have anything.
No comments at all? Okay, then I'm going to start working through our department heads. Skip?
Nothing this time, Chairman.
Okay. Who else have I got over here? Tyrell, you're there. Go ahead, Tyrell. Sean?
I just want to let everybody know we're doing a fall festival at the Animal Shelter October 20th. We're going to have lots of games. We're going to have food. We're going to have a hay ride. We're going to do some touch-up trucks. We've got a lot of good raffle stuff we're going to be raffling off out there at the fundraiser for shelter. We're also going to do a calendar for pets. Everybody can submit a picture of their pet and the entry fee. And we're going to have a board that's going to choose pictures to go on the calendar. And then the pictures that do not get chosen for the calendar will be put on the Facebook page as Pet of the Week on the Facebook page. So we'd like to have participation from everybody that possibly can. And we'll be selling the calendars. Pictures will be chosen in November. And then we'll start selling the calendars 1st of December for next year.
Thank you, Sean. Let's see, Miss Patty, I've got you zeroed in.
I don't have anything.
Okay, I'm going to come back there in just a second, Miss Ashley. Let me cover it. If I got any more department heads, I have not recognized. Okay, Miss Ashley, you're on.
I have a lot going on, or we have a lot going on in extension. Anyone. But I'm so pleased to introduce to you our new agriculture agent in Meriwether County, Mr. Ryan Brown. He comes to us from Tennessee, but on his first day, he wore a Georgia Bulldog shirt. He did get his undergrad and graduate degrees from UT. He has a bachelor's degree in communications and a master's degree in plant science. He is not new to Extension. He worked with Tennessee Extension before coming to Meriwether County. So I'm so excited to have him in our office. I've been all by myself in that office since April. So just to say good morning to somebody is very exciting. And as you all know, Angie will be retiring at the end of the month. Hopefully you all received the invitations to her retirement party. It's next Wednesday, September 19th from 2 to 4 at the Extension office. And if you haven't been to our new office, we are in the old Greenville Middle School. We have a lot more room, but if you haven't visited us in the past couple of months, we are at the old middle school. But to come by and meet Ryan this Friday, we're having a meet and greet for him from 9 to 12 at the Extension office as well. But just to talk about some things going on in Meriwether County 4-H, I attended a district meeting last week, and Meriwether County received the highest percentage increase in summer camp across the whole state. So we had an increase of 3,100%. We took 31 students to 4-H camp this summer, and I've been to camp many summers. I've taken hundreds of campers to camp in my years of extension, and knock on wood, this was by far the best week of camp I have ever had. It was a perfect week. Those kids were amazing. We had tons of fun. So it was a great week of summer camp, and we've already started up our club meetings in all the schools in Meriwether County. So if you need anything, Brian and I are over at the old middle school. Just let us know. But I'm so excited to have Ryan on board with us in the office. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Ashley. I appreciate you standing up and all the good news you bring with you there. Miss Carolyn, you're next.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I just have three things I'd like to bring to your attention. One is a reminder, of course, about our Sierra Lee Playhouse Peter Pan that's coming to Purpose Farm on September 22nd. Tickets are available online, and remember that this is a partnership between Meriwether County and Sierra Lee, and we are shooting for 200 ticket sales. If we don't make enough ticket sales, then of course Sierra Lee is not likely to want to bring us that back. So please support this. I have some posters. Anybody wants to take this one and hang it up is welcome to do so. Secondly, I just want to share with the commissioners and the audience that Meriwether County was featured as part of the Georgia's Undead Trail in the Discover Georgia's Great Places. This is published by the Friends of the State Parks, and we're part of the Undead Trail, which includes the Walking Dead sector as well as the Vampire Diaries up in Covington. And Woodbury is listed as one of the top 10 must-see places. And of course, we had our geocache ad in there. So I do have one of these for each of y'all if you'd like to take it. The last thing I want to mention very briefly is it's a very important initiative. This week we met with the public schools and some other community partners, and we're going to be launching this Get Georgia Reading campaign. Now this was put together by a lot of, I'll call heavy hitters, Department of Community Health, First Lady of Georgia, the Amy Casey Foundation, the college system, the university system, and so forth. So it's got a lot of research backing it. But this is based on the reality that in Georgia, 65 to 70% of our third graders are not able to read on the grade level at the end of third grade, and that statistic holds true for Meriwether County. So what that means, the third grade is considered a very important pivot point for young children, because up to that point they are learning to read, and from that point forward they're reading to learn. So that if they're not able to read at third grade level, then of course they get further and further behind, which contributes to, it has a cumulative toll on our economy, the safety of our community, the overall well-being of our community. And these are the kids that they fall further and further behind. In fact, the people that were there on Monday from the school system talked about many of our ninth graders are reading at third grade level. So you can see what kind of impact that has. These are the individuals that will probably not be likely to, in many cases, they won't even graduate. If they do, they're not likely to go off to any kind of post-secondary education. So they end up being part of our unemployment ranks, welfare, their social issues, the safety of our community, because a lot of them fall into lifestyles that are not necessarily healthy. These are the ones that have the teen pregnancy. So there's all kind of implications of this initiative. So we will be working. The big problem that we face as we run the communities is that the 0 to 4-year-olds are the most at-risk population. So that's the population we have to target, because by the time they get to kindergarten, of course, the school system gets them. But so many of our children are not able to recognize colors, they're not able to recognize numbers when they get to kindergarten. So this is what this initiative is all about. Our big challenge, and this is where Beverly Ball and others like her come into play, is reaching those 0 to 4 populations. So that's where we'll start, and we have a lot of partners that we've identified. You'll be hearing a lot more about this, but we will be launching this Get More Than We Need campaign for Meriwether County. Anybody that wants to help with this is more than welcome. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Carolyn.
Chairperson.
I think I have covered all my department heads. Please raise your hand if I did not. Okay. I also note we have another dignitary there, Judge Baldwin, but I understand you'll be speaking to us a little later here in the agenda.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I appreciate that. At this time, Commissioners, we're at the public hearing phase of our agenda. And do I hear a motion that we go into public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? We're in public hearing. Mr. Gay, I see Mr. Garrett's not here today.
Yes, sir. Mr. Garrett could not be with us today, and he did come, and he and I went over the applications, and I will present these today, and hopefully answer any questions that I can. Case number 10, and the first public hearing is John P. Knight III, and he's requesting to approve rezoning of a 9.565 acre tract from RR, which is 10 acres minimum, to RD, which is 2 acres minimum. And I've got a map of that. Let me start out by saying, is Mr. Knight here this morning?
Right there.
Right there, good, thank you. And this is the map indicating the property. This is in Commissioner Hines District. And this property, this is an interstate, this is Forest Road, and the property is this tract of land right here, which is on Forest Road, right after you cross over the interstate, and it backs up to the very back corner to the interstate, right now.
We just did get them in the county.
Just did. Just did get this. And of course, the applicant is here today, and he can answer, any questions you guys have. The plan is to use these as residential building lots, and the structures will be, 1,250 square feet plus homes. And the recommendation coming from Ron's office and from the Planning Commission is approval. And with that, I'll answer any questions the board has, and then Mr. Knight can tell us anything, answer anything that you guys have answered.
Commissioners, do y'all have any questions before Mr. Knight comes up?
I have a question. Says for residential homes. I'm assuming this is to sell?
I think that is comfortable.
My name is Jay Knight. This is John Knight. Yes, ma'am. The homes are for sale. We're in the home building business, and I moved to Meriwether County approximately 2 years ago. And our company's been in the home building business since 1978. And my kids are now buying their first homes. And when we started looking at availability in my business, we don't do much business in Fayette or Coweta because it's gotten so prohibitively expensive. But Meriwether is really teed up just the way some of those counties were when we were doing our business, 30 years ago, where the surrounding area gets so expensive that you get a workforce housing and you grow with dynamic young families, and we think this is our entree into that.
Any other questions?
My question would be to Mr. Gay. I know we've had some of these to come before us, and when we were trying to decide whether to, issue a variance from the 10 acres down to 2, am I wrong that if it was for family or something, it was approved, but wasn't there something in there about if it was for profit or to rent or whatever, that was not allowed? And I may not be remembering that right.
I think everyone that we've almost dealt with has been a family situation this year. And since I've been here, most of them have been a desire to split for, development of a house for a parent or a child or something to that nature. That's what we have dealt with.
Well, just even we got to hear another one in a few minutes, but if I remember right, when we turned this one down, it was because it was going to be for rental property, right?
That's right. That was the second one here was turned down because it was to be.
And I just thought there was some discussion that night about that went against our ordinance for reducing the requirement that if it was for family or whatever, then it was approved. Now, like I said, I may be remembering this wrong, but I thought that was the reason.
That was the reason on the one that y'all did turn down.
And was it because it was in our ordinance, or?
I don't think it's in our ordinance. Yeah, I don't think it's in the ordinance. I think,
a preference thing that we've not dealt with.
See, I'm remembering that differently because I thought we remembered that. I thought our thing was we had no choice but to turn it down because they said that it was for rental property and it was not for someone. But I mean,
Table it and take a look at the ordinance.
I mean,
could, if y'all want to table them and take a look.
because I mean, I'm remembering that differently than.
I know there were some issues that came up on the last time around, not on this one, but on the other one. And it related to the fact there was a house there. There was another house that was started there, which was a guest house. And then there was an issue of the setback from the property line, and then there was an issue of the proper septic system. And I know that was one of the reasons, because there was a lot of clouds over that at that time, and I think those issues have been resolved, but we can certainly go back.
I mean, if somebody can tell me differently, something makes me just remember some conversation about that we had, that makes this seem like it's the same situation. It's being pulled out for profit, basically, just to build houses to sell, I guess.
A rental zoning is typically a different zoning than this in most municipalities.
Well, I don't think we have a rental zoning. We don't have that. I mean, it's just.
And so we went and read your zoning ordinance with Ron, and we were actually kind of solicited and encouraged to do this. So we've had all the soils reports done. We're fine on the soils. We're fine on the frontages. We're not asking for any variances. This isn't a variance application. And so what we're trying to do is prime the pump for what we think is an opportunity for young families that are going to be working at the new 1,200-acre industrial center. This is 15 minutes away from the new exit going to the hospital. I have daughters who are both work for Piedmont Health System, and they could qualify for the type homes we're going to build here. So I think we're going to get young professional families. I think that's what we want. If I have to do a 9-acre lot, then I will do it, but it misses a really great opportunity.
I agree with that. So we're actually asking to rezone, but isn't that what the other one was too?
It was, yeah.
I'm not saying it's not what we need to do. I'm a little bit confused.
But it's not,
concerned.
it's not contrary to anything in your zoning ordinance. This complies 100% with it.
I don't remember seeing anything about it in the zoning ordinance, but if there's any question whatsoever that it might conflict, then we need to take a
I mean,
look.
I would just like a little clearer understanding on that, just because when we started going over it, that just brought up to mind the other case that we turned down, and we can pull those minutes to see what our actual conversation was. That there's something that's,
We can do that if, board can simply continue the public hearing until your next meeting, which is
25th.
25th. And then, we could.
I'm sorry, I have to ask you to come back.
The issue with that is time. This is our business.
Understand.
And we were already asked at the last minute to defer because y'all had a full agenda for the mining. So we've already been deferred once. And I really would appreciate if y'all would go ahead and make a decision based on the merits of this. It's been here for a long time.
And we can't. I just wouldn't be able to vote for it today, just because I don't feel
And
comfortable. So
also,
we can
you
certainly
don't
go
have the
ahead.
district commissioner here either on this particular one, and a lot of times out of, and it's not her fault she came in, she had something else that came up, as did Mr. Threadgill, but a lot of times we always like to have the commissioner of the district there, because they're the ones that have to live with the decision that is made. And when I talked to Ms. Hines yesterday, but she didn't give me any information or any comments on the rezoning request.
This board tries very hard to be very consistent.
Like I said, I don't want to be inconsistent with what you're saying with what we've previously done, and if it's all okay, that's fine. I'm just not comfortable making a vote on this today, but if you want to go ahead and vote, we can do that. If we turn it down, it'd just be a year before it could be heard again, but if we continue the public hearing, then we can do it again in 2 weeks.
I think the safest thing would probably at this point, and for your sake too, would be to continue to the next meeting.
But you don't have to.
We'll do that.
Okay.
I'm sorry, like I said, it puts it a month off, and I understand that, but I'd rather be able to make a better decision.
I understand. Thank you.
And we'll get that information back.
Can we just pull our minutes too from that
Yeah.
meeting so we can,
I'll send them to you this afternoon.
so we can read and see what's said?
Is there any other comments on this particular case while we're... Okay. Commissioners, I hear a motion, we go out of public hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Well, at this time, we're out of public hearing, and it sounds like to me, Ms. Beth, that you're going to vote to continue.
I make a motion to continue this public hearing.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Be continued till next meeting.
That is the 25th.
Okay. The next case on our agenda is case number 11. Mr. Jeffrey Hunter requests approval to rezone property. Do I hear a motion we go into public hearing?
So.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? We're in public hearing at this time, Mr. Gay.
Yes, and this is, of course, very similar to the case that you guys just addressed and needed more clarification on. So I guess my question would be, do you want to go ahead and hear this today as public hearing, or do y'all want to continue this until your next meeting and let me get the clarification? Well, Mr. Hunter is here, and I have not talked to him about that, but...
But this is not for rental or for sale, it's for what we've already done, it's for family. If this is correct, what's written here.
And this is a rehearing.
This is it was denied the first time. As I said, I know there were some issues with, that were raised with setbacks, with sewer, with the houses that were already there, because there was a house there, and then there was a guest house. And the guest house, I understand, is not complete at this point, and I don't think any of the houses are occupied.
They won't occupied openly.
Okay. And so I'll go through and we'll look at that. Mr. Hunter has requested a reclassification from LDR, which I think is 5 acres, to RD, which is 2 acres. He has a little over 6 acre tract, and he is asking to divide that into 3 2+ acre tracts. And this will be for family occupancy. Okay, for family occupancy. And there already is a existing house on the left side of the property. There's a guest house in the middle of the property, and then there's a 2-acre or more tract to the north, but to the right side of the property. And one of the things I might request is if the board should see fit to approve this, I'd like to make sure that the houses all meet our minimum standards in terms of size and everything else that we have there.
Well, nothing we're saying do is going to root that out.
No, sir. And I just want to be sure that with a house, maybe the guest house, I don't know what size it is, but it may meet all the qualifications. But I want to make sure that it doesn't go in as a grandfathered situation. And I want to make sure that it is as it needs to be. This is the property right here. Greenville is right here. There's Callaway Road, and see very close. Mr. Hunter actually lives, I think, across the street from the property. His home is here, and this is 6.44 acres, and he's looking to divide it into 3 2-acre tracts, a little bit over. And I'll be happy to answer any questions. Mr. Hunter is here. If you guys would,
I think the first one on our list here is Mr. Curtis Whitaker wants to speak on this. Curtis, did you have a question for
Well, I
him?
had a question
Yes, ma'am.
before. First, I want to say, do the house meet the size requirement? I think that's one of the things that you want to check out.
well, what I want to do is just make sure that if it's zoned, one of the conditions of zoning will be that it meets the minimum size.
Okay. And the second question is, have all the health requirements been made? I know the last time it came before us, there was some health requirements that had not been made. Have they been made?
Everything was checked out with the septic system, and there was not an issue with that.
Okay, and the third thing, will the house meet the requirement for the driveway, the frontage and all? Is there enough frontage for the frontage?
He has a lot of frontage on that tract of land, and it will meet that. And of course, that is a GDOT drive cut, and they would have to approve the drive cuts. And I know you have 2. Is there actually a third one already there?
There's not, but you're not driving there 200 feet.
200 feet.
Yeah, 600, and I believe
That's what I was thinking, was over 600 feet.
Put it on the house and see, y'all know.
Okay.
So my last question was, is this an unusual requirement? And referring back to the one case we just had before this, and I understand that this is a little different, but it more or less is the same. We transfer one from a 10-acre lot to a 2-acre lot, and this one we're trying to transfer from a 5-acre to a 2-acre.
2-acre, that's right. And we have various zones in the county that have different size lot. Some have like 20 or 25 acres. And I know we've talked about, and we just have not got around to be able to, we just finished our comp plan, and we've talked about trying to address that, because I think it's going to be kind of hard to require a 25-acre tract and a house. That's going to put you out of the price range of a lot of people who may want to, to purchase a home. And that's not to say you can't have a house at 25 acres or more, but not everybody
It'd be a
can do
requirement.
that.
I might have missed it. Was there recommendation from the planning committee?
There was recommendation for approval from the planning department and the planning commission.
My only concern, I just don't want to discriminate against one to the other. If we're going to do it for some, then I think the other should have that same opportunity.
Right.
As far as moving it, reducing the requirement for us for pivot to family, we've already set that precedent. We've probably approved 4 or 5 this year.
That's right. Sure
We've
have.
done that same thing. Now, to reduce it for commercial use, for the rental property or to resell, we haven't done. But just to move it to go to give to family, for family to be able to live around them, we've probably done no less than 4 or 5 already. Our most recent one was one in my district.
Any other comments, Commissioners? Well, at this time, Mr. Curtis Whitaker, you wish to speak? Come up. Name and address.
1 Loop Circle, Greenville, Georgia.
Proceed.
Thank you, Commissioner Boyd. Yeah, this is a long saga of requests that goes back some time, but I think probably needs addressing before there's any type of such approval. This started some over a year and a half ago when the first house was built, or under the planning to be built and in the process of being built without proper permitting. At that point in time, I reached out to Ron Garrett, myself, and another gentleman, Henry Barnes, reached out to Ron Garrett. Ron then contacted the builder, Jeff Hunter, and told him he needed a permit. He got a permit. Unfortunately, our department did not get a health inspection done properly, and the drain lines didn't get a survey, did not get a septic system permitted, nor did it do soil samples necessary to have a single-family permit, so it shouldn't have had it to begin with.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. At this point, all requirements have been met, is what I'm being told.
I don't know that that's accurate, Mr. McCoy. There's, Commissioner McCoy, there is drain lines that are not within the correct setback and actually go over the set property lines of the adjoining owner. Okay. But they were covered up, so the health department couldn't inspect it. You follow me? They were going to dig them back up.
But they did give them a permit. I mean,
They did give them a permit. That is correct. Then, moving forward, Commissioner McCoy, the process of a second single-family permit was requested and denied. The builder then came back and says, I want to build a guest house under the auspice of a guest house for someone that's not living in the first house, under the auspice of purported a relative moving in. That house was built to the minimum square footage. Unfortunately, our department, which our planning and zoning department gave a single-family permit, which is not the permit that it should have given, which allowed get a DOT curb cut and separate metering. Okay. Shortly thereafter, after that was done, the application to divide the properties in 3 different segments was made and presented to this board. And in that meeting, Ron and I went through the minutes last week. And in that meeting, the builder said that the reason he's doing this is for economic profit. Yes, young kids that were in school and he needed to rent and or sell houses, and he wanted to develop it. The point being to this board, and they denied that then, is that Mr. Hunter was aware of the zoning when he started the first house. He was aware of the zoning when he started the auspice of the guest house. And now he's aware when he's trying to build the third house to come back again and ask you guys to, not look at the history of this process and that, hey, I just want to subdivide these lots. And the question, remains, and I think what's different about this, and I think Ms. Neal has a fair question, what's different about this? At the last meeting, we presented up and down the road 1 mile in opposition to this. Every single homeowner on each side of the road for a mile, half a mile up and half a mile down, with the exception of one who was out of town. Mr. Barnes came up here in opposition. Ms. Sistrunk came up here in opposition. I came up here in opposition. Vivian came up here in opposition. Unfortunately, because of the move of the last meeting we had with Victoria, which I certainly understand, and we gratefully accepted moving this to the next meeting. They're unable to attend. A lot of these people work To that extent, they're not here, but in the record should still be their oppositions to this. So it is different in that regard. I think the fair question is, if I sit on the board and they say, hey, this guy said he wanted a guest house, so we permitted it, under the auspice of a guest house. No one's living in the first house, no one's living in the guest house, and the houses have been for sale recently within the last year. To that end, at what point do we understand that this is only for economic gain? And if the buzzword is, oh, it's for my family, he has young kids. His kids aren't moving in these houses. Do we just say, oh, you get new zoning? And the question becomes then, a reasonable person would say, is what is the planning and zoning department, and what is the reasoning for the zoning the county set in the first place? This board set this zoning for a particular reason. And I think if we don't abide by the zoning, and the only thing that someone can come in and say is a buzzword, then we immediately, abandon the zoning, then why have any zoning? At that point, why have any zoning at all? And I think this applicant has already shown that his intent never has been to build this for his family. His kids are young children. He stated at this commissioner's meeting, it's in the minutes, the reason he wanted to sell these houses and lease these houses is so that he could pay for his kids to go to schools, because our schools weren't very good. Now, I certainly respect his decision to develop. I certainly respect his decision to put his kids through different schools, if that's his decision. But he could have simply gone south 2 miles and developed in that area where zoning is permitted in that area. So the last comment that I will make, well, maybe not the last comment, because I'm sure you have a question, is that if the question is, I want this for my children, and they're not of age to move in the home, or it's not like you're moving your mother in to take care of her who's in a wheelchair, and there's no hardship, if you will, you can easily transfer ownership of this property to your kid's name. 3 kids, 4 kids, 5 kids. So you can accomplish that without breaching the zoning requirements set by this county. The last thing I'll say is more of an economic thing for the county. If we are constantly going to let people breach our zoning requirements, and we shouldn't have them, and if we're going to constantly let people come in and, to the economic deficiency of this county, build a 1,200 square foot house under the auspice of a guest house, and then later convert it to zoning and dupe the commissioners, that has a negative economic impact to this county. That house has 2.3 children, and they put 2.3 kids in the school, and it's valued at $90,000 to $110,000 at the minimum square footage. That's and I think Theron can elaborate on this. That is an economic hardship to our county. Now, that doesn't mean everybody here should have 4,000 square foot houses. I understand that, but there is zoning set for those houses, and it's allotted. And this Board of Commissioners zone where those houses should be done, where they should be allocated, so that it's fairly that you have affordable housing in certain sections throughout the county. It's very understandable and I think practical. What's not practical is anytime someone comes up here and says, hey, I want to give this to my kid, we breach our zoning. I think it's more impractical when there's great opposition to it and that you knew the zoning when you started building these houses. And you've already been denied by this commissioners, and then you continue to build this guest house. So in closing, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Commissioner Lee, you had mentioned a question about the last meeting a year and so ago, a year and 4 months ago. Ron and I pulled those, and it's in the record that he wanted to rent and or sell these houses for economic profit. That's where you got it. You were dead right on that.
I've got the minutes here.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's say that.
Any other questions, Mr. Wood?
For all those reasons, Commissioner Chairman McCoy asked that this application be denied as it was the last time it sat in front of the same board.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Mr. Jeff Hunter. Would you come forward, please? And you're at,
1896 Roosevelt Highway.
okay, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, he's right. I did mention something about renting them in the past. I need to change the laws the last couple of years. Had a couple of kids in private school, one of them just graduated. They helped out. The thing is, it started out with a little cottage. He's been after that land for years, and I wasn't willing to sell it to him because of family. Alright, well, moving on, he keeps complaining about the cottage, so I want him to build a house. He's gonna move my mom over, she decided not to come over. Alright, well then, the house is there, and then our cottage, what we used to use it for, really wasn't as good then, because we didn't open it up. It used to be a pickup trail into the woods. And, so then, I decided, well, we'll just add on to it, make it a little more useful. That was perfect. And, yeah, they bought the septic line, so they threw across the property line. So we just replaced it. The health department, the inspector. All that was brought up for. Square footage is equivalent, everything's equivalent. I mean, I can go out there right now, and do anything you want to, everything's up. And, but now I'm not as much in for renting. I mean, I can use the income, but it ain't that big of a deal, but I need to make the property more useful. I mean, to have the two houses sitting there, I mean, my oldest daughter, she's 19, she's just started college. She'll be getting out of college here soon. She'll need a place to go. I'd rather be a little easier on starting out. Working class people have a hard time with that. And there's no starter homes in this county fit rent. But I don't really see what the concern is of Whitaker, whether I'm selling or renting or whatever. And as far as the ordinances, I think we done figured out here recently, some of our ordinances aren't constitutional. So maybe we'll probably keep that in mind also. I mean, I pay a lot of taxes on that property over there, the one I'm in, and I still send my kids to private school.
Your home is right across the street.
Right across.
Mr. Hunter, while we're discussing this, let me just throw something out here. Obviously, the opposition is you're building to sell. If we made this conditional that this would stay in your family for 5 years, you couldn't sell it, you couldn't get rid of it, would that be acceptable?
Well, I mean, it would, but what if things change in the future? What I need to say. I mean, can we put that on this?
No, I was just asking, that is the opposition.
Right.
That's the reason I asked that question.
I understand, I respect that, and, but we need to be thinking constitutional what we're supposed to do with our property. It is the law.
Just a second, go ahead, Mr. Gay.
I was just going to mention for the record that Mr. Hunter did file a reservation of rights letter. I just wanted citizens to be aware of that, and this is common. In no way is it a threat. It just allows the door to be open for him to, pursue other avenues if the zoning is denied. So I wanted to mention that, and again, it's not a threat in any way, but it is something that's required, and it was submitted. So I just wanted that for the record.
Really, for the record too, that portion of our zoning ordinance is constitutional. We can have the right to zone properties to a certain standard as far as acreage is concerned.
That's true, but it's also that if it does affect your own photo and somebody requests it, it's supposed to be honored too.
You have, the part about it's unconstitutional is that they didn't have a right to be heard. We're here saying,
You have the right to be heard, that's all that means. That's what this is.
This law turned down too.
No, I disagree. I disagree too.
Commissioner Neely, I think you have a question. Neely Hadley.
When you bought this property, was it zoned this already?
No, the zoning changed, seemed like early 2000 or something.
How long have you had this property?
And, it was still, 2 acres, I think, back then, but
How long have you had the property though? When did you buy it?
in 2002.
Okay, I think the zoning went into effect in 2000, didn't it? The new zoning, so this zoning would have been in effect when if you bought it in 2002. If I'm not mistaken, that's when the new zoning
went into effect, if anybody, that's who knows, 2000.
Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah. But I believe it was 2000, that's when the 25 acre, all that was done at that time, way before this board, but
Yeah, wasn't really following the zoning, much then either, so.
fortunately, we don't, until,
Right. You have to stay on
until it
top of it
affects us.
all the time.
That's true.
Or you miss something.
I understand. But are you saying that this house is gonna be for your daughter?
Yeah.
I mean, she plans to come back here.
I'm hoping.
And your property is directly across the road where you live now. That is your domicile.
So there's two places over there now,
Yeah.
and they're both empty. So what's the plans for both of them
I
there?
got 3 kids. And I
But the
kinda
others are quite a lot younger, right?
Yeah, well, one of them's 16 and, the other one's 10.
Mr. Hunter, when would you plan to convert the deeds to your children, if that was granted?
Probably when I settle them down. I mean, I do have one belief, make it too easy on somebody and give it to them too fast, and that's a nice way of saying it this way, but.
I understand that. We have heard very similar cases this year, quite a few, but there were people who were, number one, they were young adults, they were working on their own, and they immediately were going into those homes, or they were immediately building homes. So that is a difference in this case and those others that we have heard and made this change already.
Any further comments? Okay, thank you, Mr. Hunter. Any comments from the public out there?
Commissioner, on that same, one of the things, address the,
You may.
Commissioner Neely, I think you asked a very appropriate question. That question is, there's nothing to prevent this daughter from moving in that house now and a family member moving in the other house. Nothing to prevent that at this point in time. You just can't rent it. So, all right, thank you very much. That's why, again, I asked for it to be done.
Since there's nobody else out there with comment, commissioners, do I hear a motion that we go out of public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, commissioners, you've heard the case. I guess this falls pretty much with you, Ms. Mary.
I ask that we table this until we have the research from the ordinance concerning selling or renting homes.
Okay.
And then from that, we can make a determination.
That'll be September the 25th as well.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor of table? So passes.
Okay. And we'll research that information. All right, bring that back.
Mr. Hunter, I hate we're going down
You
this
need
road,
this
but
done.
that's the way it goes.
All right, thank you.
Now, we're up to the portion of old business. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped over one. Presentation of the 2018-2019 budget. I don't see Mr. Bill there, so naturally I wouldn't have thought of that.
Can I get my copy out of my box?
Yeah, go right ahead.
And of course, as we go into this, I want to thank the board for y'all's guidance and leadership on the budget this past year. It's been a successful year. Here we are on the 12th. We're 18, 19 days from a new budget year. And as of today, we've still not had to do the TAN. So there's a great chance that we might be able to make that 2 years in a row, and that's something that hasn't happened not only 2 years in a row, but until last year it was something that hadn't happened in 15 plus years. So I think y'all are to be congratulated with that. I also want to thank our department heads and our elected officials. They did a great job of managing their budget. We had a lot going on this year, like I say, they did a great job of managing and coming in within the budget. And now, Bill's not here today, but I want to say thanks to Bill and his staff and everyone, because they've done most of the budget. I've been tied up with other things, and I'm sorry Bill, couldn't be here today, but unfortunately, some other things came up, that didn't allow him to make it. I do want to go through this, and I'll answer any questions. Now, y'all are having a public hearing on it today, and it will be ready for adoption at your September 25th meeting. So any questions that you have today, if I can't answer those, I will certainly get you an answer and have that available before we get back to the adoption.
We actually have to vote to go into public hearing for this, because we just came out of public hearing.
We do.
Okay.
Let's go into public hearing. Do I hear a motion? We'll go into public hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? We're in public hearing. Go ahead, Mr.
Okay,
Kay.
thank you. And again, I will walk down the various lines. I'll just point out a couple of things in each, and then if there's any questions of the board, I'll be happy to answer that. The starting line is miscellaneous, and this is where we put grants and various things such as that, plus our HRA account in there. That's a health savings account. General government, see the numbers there. Countywide capital outlay, we're trying to do a little better there with because we have a lot of things that need to be replaced. Our insurance, workers' comp went up just a little bit, but we're trying to manage that. The ACCG Irwin insurance slightly. Our contingencies are down. I will point out debt service, ABM Solutions. That's a big number. That was a program that was started several years ago in terms of retrofitting HVAC units and things of that nature, and that still stands.
How much longer we have on that? Long time.
Several more years. We'll be glad when that's resolved. The communication landline phones, take a look at that. That's reduced over the last few years. I want to thank Skip for his work on that, cleaning up some of the lines that were really kind of dead-end lines and consolidating, and so that's number is reduced as well. You'll see the fire department, utilities, and things of that nature. Those have been moved. We're moving those into our line for fire district to cover. And we've got the big projects. That's the allocation this upcoming year is 713,520. And then there's not a striping program scheduled at this point this year, but hopefully there will be, and if it is, we can adjust the budget at that time. On safety, just some education and training and some supplies. Personnel, this is where we put our employee benefits and into this account, and again, you'll see that some of those have been moved over from this account over to the fire district. In terms of commissioners, there is an increase in employee line. What we're doing there is we're asking for consideration of an additional staff person. We are absolutely maxed to the hilt every day. We have a lady that's working with us through PACS, and she's been a good source, but that program's going to expire soon. Office supplies, the more things we have going on, the more it costs to do. So we also have put the part-time person who is assisting us with some public works project. He goes under that employee line too. So that's some of the reasons. And in this past year, I have really put in a lot more time than I had originally planned. And as we get some of these big projects away, I'm going to try to manage that just a little better as well. Looking at elections, I think there's a part-time person that, Patty, am I correct, that you're looking to have into your office? Because right now, when you're gone, you got to either bring in a board member or not be there. So we're recommending approval of that. Looking down at finance, everything's pretty straightforward in that department. Tax commissioner, everything is pretty, straightforward, pretty consistent there. Assessor's office, that salary line is up because we have added a couple more people. There were some positions in that office that were not filled, had been vacant for a while. And we have some new people now, and I think they'll more than pay for themselves. We've already seen some growth in the digest this year, which to me is great.
That position that was empty was contingent upon they get things together in
That's
that
right.
office.
Sure was.
So it has been vacant for
It has
at
been.
least a couple of years.
Yes, it did take a little while to do, but it's a stark contrast to what it was, and it's done very, very well. On building and grounds, this is just maintenance. You'll see the lawn care, that's our contract at 15 for cutting at the industrial park and Lake Meriwether and the airport, and that's been a great deal. We cannot cut it ourselves for that kind of price, plus it allows us to be able to move into other things as well. On IT, pretty consistent there. Again, managing that, Skip does a good job on that.
It's like we gotta buy some computers though.
We do. We have a continuous computer replacement program because they come obsolete pretty quickly. So we want to stay on top of that. So he has a regularly scheduled replacement program that he implements. Court services, again, very consistent with what we've had in the past. Superior Court, same way. I think they're continuing with more and more court. District Attorney, same as the last year. Budget, Magistrate, again, very consistent with what it was last year. Probate, again, consistent, not a lot of changes there. Board of Equalization, this just covers the cost of any appeals, and it's consistent over the last 3 years. Juvenile Court, again, consistent other than some cost limit adjustments. Public Defender, there again, this is a contract, and it's consistent with how it was last year. Public Safety, this is the EMS side, and you'll note that some of the dollars on the regular employees have gone down. That is due to the transfer of some of those positions over to the fire department budget. And inmate care, $100 less than last year. They've done a great job there. Sheriff's Office, we did do some adjustment for salaries there. I know they're having a difficult time keeping and maintaining and getting people to be involved. And they do a phenomenal job, but they really need some help from us on that as well. Jail, jail is, is routine. It's the same as it has been. Fire department, of course, you can see that's all zero. That went out of general fund into our fire department. And EMS, one of the things I'll point out is vehicle maintenance and repair. We've had some issues with the age and the condition of our trucks. We're looking at a potential remount now with a new chassis on it and utilizing the existing box. But we're also needing to look at a couple of engine replacements. I talked with the chief yesterday, and he's going to proceed with one of those because we're trying to be sure that we have sufficient spares to be able to keep everything in service when the main vehicle is down for service or anything else.
Is there a guess to what that's going to cost?
We're estimating 43. Yes, sir. And that should cost a couple of engines, and we're going to have to kind of see where that remount.
Okay, you're down at the next section.
I'm down to the next section. Yes, sir. Corner is consistent with previous years. E911, the salary line there, he's had some positions that were not filled, and we've encouraged him to try to go and get all of those filled, so that line reflects that plus any overtime, and we're trying to manage the overtime because that's expensive in terms of labor. EMA is just a small amount to cover any grants that we may need, any training that comes along with that. Animal shelter, again, pretty consistent. I know medical supplies, they're trying to do a lot with that. And the employees, we're trying to use some part-time people there as well. In terms of...
We know with the animal shelter, that would be a lot more if we didn't have some very generous donors.
Absolutely, it would be a lot more. It would be a lot more, because this is just really maintenance and operation.
Yeah.
And those generous donors allow us to be able to cover a lot of those medical supplies and everything. And it would be exactly right. Public Works, again, we're trying to get their salary lines and all their positions filled. We still are trying to use the summer temporary help there. We have contract services. I think that's going to reflect some of the costs for some of our equipment. We are looking at ways to reduce costs. We're going to start buying some of the things that we bought, like patching material. We're going to start buying that in bulk and storing it. That'll be a lot cheaper than what we have done in the past, and it will also be readily available. We're going to incorporate a large amount of millings that we have down near the airport that came from the roads that were milled, and we placed it there, and we're going to start incorporating that into some of our processes and all as well. So hopefully that'll cut out on some of our gravel costs and other things there.
It just brings up one thing. Tyrell, did we get the gate up around those millings?
Yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am.
For some reason, the public had in mind that those were free. I've had people call and ask if they buy them, and I said no, but then I was told yesterday folks were just backing up and loading it up. But Tyrell and them were trying to get that, because that's a huge savings
It is a huge
for us,
savings.
and it was given to the county, you know.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of people, asking about it, wanting it.
I think they just took it.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, those guys do a good job. We appreciate it. It's amazing how they get around to dealing with as big a county as we have, as many dirt roads, and all you got to have is a heavy rain, and the condition goes from good to terrible. Health department, that's our subsidy to the health department, as well as DFACs and Three Rivers News, and then contribution to Keep Meriwether Beautiful. In terms of recreation, it's the same as last year, except that under contract services, we're trying to employ more part-time people to be able to keep the gyms open and provide more services. So that's the only difference there in that line. Library included the subsidy, and of course we got the county agent contributions there. We have state forestry, which is based upon the number of forested acres. Under building and zoning, we have added another inspector / code enforcement person there. And I think that's the difference in that budget. Welcome Center, tourism, we have a contribution, and of course our subsidy and bond payment to IDA. And that totals $14,101,160, and that is a balanced budget. One thing that I would recommend that we do is we have a lot of dollars that are just kind of sitting in the landfill closure, and the landfill has been consistently, measured up to, all the standards. And I think the dollars are in excess, and if there was anything that required those amount of dollars, I think you could ask for assistance with the Superfund sites anyway. So what we'd like to recommend at this point is that we be able to go back and pay those monitoring fees that we've done for the last several years. We've been paying those out of general fund, but I think that category was actually set up to be able to do that. So what we'd like to do is to not only do this year's fees that we have to pay out of that account, but we'd also like to go back and capture the last 3 or 4 years as well and put in there. And then from there, I'd like to, as we go forward on some other use of those funds, and that may be the dollars that we can use to set up some kind of recycling centers or various compactor sites at various locations in the county. But for now, we at least would like to recommend that we do that as you guys get ready to vote. And with that, happy to answer any questions that I can. If there's questions I can't, because obviously Bill is more knowledgeable and has been through all of this, and I didn't have that luxury this year. But I'll be happy to answer anything I can, and if there's questions I can't, I will get those questions to you guys and get you an answer before next meeting.
Take it, there's no question.
I don't have any, I asked you the questions I had yesterday.
Okay, good. All right, okay.
I think Ms. Raleigh has a question.
Yes, I'm sorry, Mayor.
Yes, Mr. Gay, for the donation that the county makes to the senior center every year, what line item is that under, and what is the amount?
Yes, ma'am. It's under recreation. Charlene, let's see. Take it just a second here. Back, we got a lot of lines. Under recreation, senior centers is $19,500.
And that's for the three.
For all of them, is what you're
Right.
asking.
That's what we had last year and the year before.
I was just trying to see that you give us the
Unfortunately, no ma'am. Same as last year.
That's right.
Commissioners, I guess we need to go out of public
They
hearing.
need to just ask if anyone in the audience has any.
Oh, we'll do that. Are there any questions over what you just heard? There are none.
I don't have a question, I just have a comment. Certainly, the $14 million is a lot of money in anyone's eyes, but it is not near enough to run a county of this size. If you look down through that budget, there's not any extras there. I mean, we heard Mr. Gay say something about increasing some of the salaries, so we need to be competitive. It's bad when we get an employee and we train them, we get them to work, and then all they do is leave and go somewhere else because the county surrounding us are upping their salaries $2 to $9 an hour more than what we're offering. So we've got a lot to do, and not to have to borrow money. Last year, or knock on wood, if we can make it 2 more weeks, we won't have borrowed any money this fiscal year, and that credit goes to Mr. Gay and to our constitutional officers and our department heads for keeping it under control. But it is nowhere near enough to do the thing. There's no extras. We use our splosh to take care of general fund needs. We should be doing all of our paving, everything that we surface and everything we do, that should be coming from our general fund. And then when you have splosh, that's where you get the extra things that improves the quality of life, a lot of the extras that people want. So we certainly don't have the answers, all the answers, and I think we're making the right steps when we're not having to borrow money. We're staying within what we do have, and our tax digest went up a little bit, so that's good. That's why we do have a little bit more in the budget. Now, there was a rollback because of reevaluation. That had to go to rollback, but anything that was new construction, am I saying this right, then we get to have that as extra funding, which is, I mean, it's not a ton, but hey, look, every little bit helps, because we have had no growth in the last several years in our tax digest. So just thank you for everything you've done, for your leadership, for our department heads, employees, and constitutional officers. And for Mr. Bill, I hate he couldn't be here. He has a death in the family, which is they've had one right after the other. And I hate that he could not be here, but he's done a lot of work, as you said, on getting this together. And I just want to say thank you.
Well, I want to say thanks to all of our employees, department heads. We have really a great dedication dedicated as any, and does a phenomenal job. And, but it all starts out with the leadership and the tone that's set, and you guys do that. So I thank y'all as not only as an employee here, but as a citizen here. Y'all were able to manage the budget right in line. We had some growth in the digest. You guys actually rolled the military back just a little bit for the rollback rate, and we're still able to operate. And there's some other things we need to do, and we've got the SAFER grant. I want to mention that again. That is a phenomenal thing, almost $1.4 million that's going to help us in establish.
Not loan.
That's right. It's great. And it will pay for portions of the salaries for the fire department for probably a 3-year period. That'll allow us to do some other things we want to do. And the fire district that you guys promoted, went out and established, was a game changer on that, because it set the groundwork for us to be able to qualify for the SAFER grant. Because if you can't show sustainability, they're not going to give you the dollars. They want you to sustain it, and with the things you guys have done, we're in a great position to do it. So I thank you guys.
And I think as citizens, you
We appreciate that. We appreciate the applause. I think we need a motion to get out of public hearing here.
So moved.
There's a second. All in favor? Okay, moving along with our agenda here under old business, discussion of mental
We
health.
got to adopt the budget.
No,
But we'll do that on the 25th.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right, 25th, that's right, I'm sorry.
After, did you receive the budget or anything, or motion to go out, did you?
Yeah, that they just conducted a public hearing.
We just did. Okay.
That's all we need to do. Just,
All right.
And we'll present it back.
Back under old business, discussion of mental health court. You want to introduce that and let the judge bring it?
Yes, sir, Judge Baldwin's here with us. It's always glad to see the judge, and glad to have him here. He wants to come and, talk to you guys about the establishment of mental health court. And I hate that Commissioner Pritchard wasn't able to be here today, because I know he is interested in that. So Judge, please come forward. Nice to see you again.
Thank you so much. I'm Quillian Baldwin. I'm one of the senior Superior Court judges in the Coweta Circuit. That means I've retired, but the governor's signed an order allowing me to continue to work when needed. And one of the things that I do is act as the judge of the Troup County Mental Health Court. And that was the first one in the circuit. And we started that back in 2012, I believe, Tiffany. I have with me here Tiffany Hutchinson, who is our coordinator, actually our circuit-wide coordinator. And her deputy coordinator, Lanisha Rivers, right here. And they are the engines that drive our court, and the one in Troup County has been very successful. Well, I'm not going to, I know y'all got a lot of folks here, and I'm not going to try to bore you. Commissioner Threadgill has already heard all of this, so he is not there. Unfortunately, Ms. Hines, but Ms. Neely Hadley and Ms. Bray, Commissioner Bray and Commissioner Neely Hadley, hey, that's right, Hadley, are new to it. The chairman has also heard my spiel before, and I'm going to try to make this direct. Sometime, when was it? Was it early part of the year?
Earlier this year.
Yeah. One of the assistant district attorneys got in touch with the district director at Pathways, Mary Beth Pilat, who is also one of the staff members on our Troup County Mental Health Court, and wanted to talk to her about starting a mental health court in Meriwether County. And they discussed it, and I think she and Tiffany came over here, and I don't know who she talked to. I wasn't part of that
They came to us.
Oh, they came to y'all, okay.
They do.
And I don't want anybody to take anything I'm saying wrong. She left with the impression that y'all basically had approved that if we got approved by the state. And the deal was that she has to ask for a grant by the state. And then they require a matching amount of $10,000 from y'all. When we finally got the grant by the state, we started coming back and it seemed like some roadblocks had come up, and so we've been trying to address those. We had two people that were our county clerk, Meriwether County Clerk Kai, I think was against it from the get-go, and our county sheriff Chuck and he's here. You still back there? Was not in favor of it. This is what's called an accountability court. I'm going to give you this background very quickly, which was started by Governor Deal several years ago all over the state. And a lot of them started out as drug and alcohol courts, and then they progressed to mental health courts, and now we have veterans courts, and others. But these people that come before these courts are people that are constantly getting put in jail and are breaking the law, but they're really doing it because of their problem, because they're hooked on drugs or alcohol, or they have a mental health problem, which means they usually are also hooked on drugs trying to self-medicate themselves. And his purpose of starting these courts was to try to reduce the jail population, one thing, and of course the other is to try to help these people with their problems. Now, I can't speak for the whole state. My impression is from things he said and some of the leadership of the accountability courts in the state, that this has been a very, very successful program. I can tell you that in Troup County, ours has been a very successful program. And then later, Tiffany started one in Carroll County. And that has been successful, although it hadn't been going as long as our program has. And there was, at least the district attorney's office felt there was a need for a mental health court in Meriwether County. Anyway, Tiffany went to the state, sent all the stuff in the state, got it approved, but we can't start it unless y'all approve and authorize the $10,000. Now, I'm not going to speak for the sheriff. He's here. I'll let him tell you what his concerns are. My understanding, I've talked to both the sheriff and to the clerk, and my understanding that the clerk is concerned, number one, about more work for her clerk's office, and number two is spending $10,000 on this when she feels like a number of her clerks need a raise. We tried to tell her that her office was not going to do any work for the mental health court. All the kind of work that she does is all handled by our staff. It's not handled by the clerk's office at all. Clerk's office doesn't have anybody come to our court. They don't do any work. And just to verify that, where are those letters?
They're in the folder.
Oh, okay. We got letters, and we tried to tell her that, and she seems to not. You want to give these out to them, and Lanisha, you want to give those out. I'm going to let her give these to y'all. But we got a lot of both the Troup County clerk and the Carroll County clerk just to state that they don't do any work for us. So her concern about having more work is just not a valid concern. And she told me she talked to some people in some other circuits, and they did, the mental health of court did use them. Well, I can't speak for the other circuits. All I can speak for is us. And I'm telling y'all, she won't have any work to do. Her office won't have any work to do. The other thing about the raises, I mean, that's y'all's business, but it's my impression that y'all probably would not give her people raises without probably giving raises to all the people in all the employees of Meriwether County, or some kind of raise. I think that really caused a problem. So that $10,000 is not going to do anything for her. Now, I know what the sheriff told me his concern was, but he's here, and I would rather him step up here and tell you, Chuck, if you don't mind, what your concern is, where I'll make sure I don't misstate it, okay? Then I'm going to tell them what I think's wrong with it.
Put me on the spot.
I'm sorry. I'm telling you what you told me, but you're here, and
Yeah, what Judge Baldwin and I did have a conversation.
We recognize Sheriff Chuck Smith.
Yeah, and what my concerns are is personnel. When we have that courthouse open, when this proceeding is going on, I gotta have deputies at a metal detector, and I gotta have deputies in the courtroom. And $10,000 is not gonna cover the cost of overtime for the deputies that I had to have in the courthouse. And those were my major concerns, was the cost of what it was going to incur on me to overtime for the personnel that I've had to provide to you.
And Chuck is correct. We normally, he runs that. We don't tell him what to do. But we normally have some deputies at our meetings, because the county and Troop County pays for, that I don't think they pay anything extra for. That's just part of the sheriff's budget. But they meet with us in case we have somebody get out of hand, or those kinds of things. We do have that happen. He's correct that we will have to have some people there, but I think that, of course, I thought your concern was, and I had told them before, was that you wanted more deputies. And I know I had told the chairman and Mr. Threadgill and the county manager that, of course, $10,000 wasn't going to buy you another sheriff's deputy. I did not know it would be an extra cost for y'all, but since you brought that up, I have got something I've discussed, but I can't say we're going to be able to do it a way that we could probably pay some of that for your deputies that come. I don't think, of course, I don't think we use well, I reckon they do that downstairs. I was talking about metal detector, but they do downstairs at the Troop County building. They have metal detectors down there. That's an everyday thing. I don't know what y'all do, have somebody up there every day.
Yes, we're mandated.
Yeah, but so that's not going to be an extra person or extra money, is it?
If it's going to be conducted at 6 o'clock in the evening.
No, it's not going to be that. In fact, we talked about doing it in the morning, but no, it won't be after hours. And usually we don't go, we try not to go in Troop County along at 5 o'clock, but we plan to do this one in the morning. So that won't be any extra there. But we would need maybe 2 deputies in the courtroom for about an hour and a half. And I don't know what that would cost you. I have no idea. But I'm trying to come up with a way that if that was going to cost you something, that we could come up with the money. So you wouldn't have to come up with the money, okay? But is there anything else that you're concerned about that's out there?
Just let me mention, and this is something that you're already familiar with, of what we're doing in a rural community.
Yeah.
And what I see working right now.
Yeah.
Is that we're doing a pre-trial diversion. For those that stand up before Your Honor at that podium and to say to you, I have a drug or alcohol problem, will you give me a chance? The district attorney's office, through their office, they would be willing to allow that defendant to enter into a drug or alcohol treatment program and sort of put that case, if you will, in some sort of an abatement until they successfully complete the counseling or whatever the requirement is. And obviously they got to present some sort of certificate or some sort of document that proves to the prosecutor and to Your Honor that they have successfully completed that program. We see, from my point of view, and I think I don't want to speak to the court, but I think I can speak for it. We see that that's working well in our rural community. Once they stand at that podium, they ask you for help, or they ask that prosecutor for help, then that case is put into an abatement, pretrial diversion, and pathways are right out here. You walk in there, you walk into wherever you'd like to go, get that treatment, to get that, obtain that certificate, bring that thing back, and then the case is decided from that point where it's going to be prosecutable or whether it's going to be dismissed. And we see that's been working pretty well right now.
And I don't doubt we do the same thing in Troop County and all the counties in this circuit for that matter. With pre-trial diversion is a common thing. The difference in that and a mental health court situation is a lot of those people know and other people know because maybe they are constantly drunk or they're constantly strung out on drugs and they're tested and they've got all sorts of drugs in that system. With mental health situations, a lot of those people don't know or won't admit that they've got a mental health problem because they're not arrested for having a mental health problem. They're arrested for some other crime. But it's the mental health problems that's causing them to do these crimes. And we have the ones that are sent to us evaluated. We decide if they have a mental health problem, and then they are, sorry, I'm sorry, talking to him, not talking to y'all. Then we get them in there. We put them on a program in there, and twice a month they have to come to our court, and we see how they're doing, and we meet as a staff for a couple hours before court to see, how people are doing and what we need to do to help them solve their mental health problems. A lot of them also have a drug and alcohol problem or one or the other. But again, it's a self-medication thing, not so much the other, but we help them with both of those things. This is not a drug and alcohol court. This is people that primarily have a mental health problem. And we've been pretty darn successful over in Troop County with this. I'm not over, since I'm retired, I'm not over here now enough to say anything. I have had several other people tell me, based on the people coming to court and stuff like that y'all need something like this over here. But, that's more than hearsay, it's about triple hearsay. So it's not personal knowledge that I've got right now. I will tell you this, and I had a rough copy of this given to the chairman and Mr. Threadgill a while back. This is an estimated cost of savings that we think that Meriwether County might make. Let me see. They can go there. And we can put one of these down on Mr. Threadgill's place. He's seen it. But according to the sheriff, it cost him about $40 a day. I think that's kind of a round off figure, but $40 a day to keep somebody in jail. part of this idea with the governor is not only to keep people out of jail and help them, but to save money to the county and state by them not being in jail. Now, we are talking about starting out with 10 people to begin with. And this is just a example of what that might be. If you have $40 a day and you had 10 people, that would total per day would be $400. Total per week would be $2,800. Total per year would be $145,600. Now, I doubt if y'all gonna save $145,600. I wish I could come in here and tell you that. But I think Chuck would tell you, and I know, that all of these people are not going straight to jail. A lot of times they come straight to us. But some of them are in jail from time to time. So I skipped down and said, well, what if you only had half of them in jail for a year? 5 people, not the same ones all the time, but you were keeping 5 people out of jail when they normally would be in jail. As you can see, the bottom line figure was that to save y'all $72,800. But let's skip down one more. Let's just say it's 3 people over a year's time. That would be $43,680.
And then take the 10,000 off of that, right?
Yeah, you take the 10,000.
Then we get to pay out.
And if it's just one person, even that is more than the $10,000, only slightly more, but y'all would be $14,560, or just the total savings of $4,560. So, you know, we think that at least you would, you know, probably be saving somewhere between $40,000 and $15,000 a year minus the $10,000 by doing this program. And we just think it would really be a good thing. We'd be glad to answer any questions. I know there was one question that came up when I met with the chairman and Mr. Threadgill and Mr. Gay. There was some question about somebody else that was interested in one of the other courts and what he had proposed for a salary of something like $20,000. Yeah, I don't get any salary from y'all. Anything I get comes out of here. I do get paid, but I've been getting that from the state, straight from the state. But y'all won't have any more obligations than the $10,000. You will have that. And from the state standpoint, we are already 3 months into the program, although we haven't been running the program because we haven't gotten y'all's approval and okay for the $10,000. I reckon what we'll do is if y'all don't do it, then we have to, I think we won't have to send anything back because they don't send it to us till we ask for it. Is that right?
I would just have to do a budget amendment.
Okay.
And use it elsewhere.
Okay. But can I answer any questions?
I have one.
Yes, ma'am.
As far as our clerk is concerned, if I understand right, she's responsible for all the courts that go on at our courthouse. And I think one of her concerns were, would she be held liable or responsible for this court, although she has nothing to do with it because it is at our courthouse?
No, ma'am. She doesn't have anything to do with this. She has no responsibility for this. Now, I don't know. I hadn't looked up the law. She didn't say that to me. Her 2 things she said to me was the deal about having more work, and so I haven't looked that up. But all I know is neither one of the other 2 clerks, that's been a concern for, and they don't have any work, and we don't use them for anything concerning this.
That's just kind of, I've been trying to do my own checking,
Yeah.
knowing this was
I don't
coming
know what
up.
liability she'd have anyway.
Okay. Right.
You know, I mean, we don't, there just wouldn't, I can't see there being any type of liability there, for her. Being like, she doesn't deal with the money. She doesn't deal with any of that. So I don't see how she can have any liability. You know, of course, if somebody wanted to sue somebody, they would sue everybody. I've been sued a number of times. But you know, yeah, go ahead.
I will say, as far as the clerk's office scheduling all of the offenders that come on the docket, of course, she would still have to give them a court date, the people who are coming through mental health court, a court date, but it wouldn't be anything that she's not already doing anyway, because all the offenders are going to have a court date anyway. So that's the only involvement that she would have as far as mental health court offenders, is putting them on the calendar just like any other person that we put on the calendar.
She's keeping the sentences, she's keeping records of the sentences.
Yeah, but she does that anyway.
For everybody.
She does that anyway. It's part of her regular stuff. That doesn't, what happens is these people come to court, if it's in Superior, well, y'all don't have a state court over here, so everything's in Superior Court. The district attorney and usually the lawyer will work something out, and the judge orders, either as a pretrial diversion type thing, as Chuck was talking about, that they go into mental health court, or as part of their sentence, it'll be part of their probation. And of course, if they don't participate, then they violated the probation. Or the other is they'll move ahead with their case to trial or whatever, or plea bargain or whatever, if it's a pretrial diversion. Yes, ma'am.
My question is, does this just remain just within the court system? I'm reminded of a case last year here in Greenwood where we had someone with a mental health issue, and they were just lagging around, you know, outdoors or whatever, but it was obvious they did have a mental health issue, but they was never arrested. Does this address any of those issues?
I'm not sure I know what you're talking about. But when they come to us, they are assigned various duties, things they have to go to, various classes they have to go to. They have to be drug tested. They are randomly drug tested. Is it once a week?
A minimum of twice a week.
Minimum twice a week. But they don't hang around the courthouse.
Let me rephrase that. I guess my question is, does this just address people that's in the system that has been put in jail or came to you? Or would this program also address people that we know that do have a mental health issue but have nowhere to go?
Well, no ma'am. It just addresses those that's going through the court system. Yeah, but you can get them to break the law and then maybe we can.
I will say, as my comment, that I have utilized the mental health court with my clients in Muskogee County many times and have enjoyed a pretty good success through it.
Yeah, it's a great program, and I don't want to take up y'all's time, but it's been a blessing to me, and they do all the work. But I get to see the results and get to know these people, and you know, it's just been one of those things that I decided to get into that's been I've gotten a lot more out of than I've personally put into. But anyway, that's the whole ball of wax. We just need y'all for approval, and it'd be good if we could get it where we could begin our thing at least in October. Okay?
Mr. Chairman, I have a couple more questions.
Go right ahead.
Sure.
One's for the sheriff, and I hate to put you on the spot, but do you have any idea how many inmates you typically have that would fall under mental health?
That's a good question. I got 5 right now. And I don't have a great number of inmates annually coming through the jail, you know. I don't know the benefit for the cost, I don't know. But right now I got 5.
Okay.
And I do work the pathways on those 5. Now these 5 obviously have violated the law, but they're in jail. Most of these folks are misdemeanor offenders, and they're not going to stay in jail for longer than 12 months anyway. and some less than that, because I do give good time. But they are still under the care of pathways. Now, once they get out of jail, it is their responsibility to obviously continue to go to those meetings or appointments or whatever that, that they're sanctioned through pathways or sanctioned through the courts. But 5 is, I don't deal with a great number of mental health clients, if you will, that I would see the overall benefit.
The other question, the state is funding this. Is this something the state's gonna do for a certain period of time and then the entire cost would fall on us later?
It's not ever all gonna fall on you. It is.
So if the state decided to stop funding it, then it would just cease to exist. It would not become our responsibility to fully fund it.
Well, we've been going off of state funding since 2012 when we first started the initiative. It goes from June 30 or July 1st to June 30th each year. And then at the beginning of each year, so for this upcoming February, we'll get the grant application, apply for funding, and then continue if they give us the grant funds. But
If they don't give us a grant, well, we just stop.
Right, it just goes
Right.
away. Okay, that's the question. Thank you.
The other thing, and Chuck and I are good friends, and I respect everything he says, but you can't always tell whether somebody's got a mental health problem.
That's true.
Some people it's easy to tell, but some people it's not. And and the deal is, of course, when they get off their 12 months probation, if it's a misdemeanor, they don't have to go anywhere. They all probation. There's nobody to make them go to anything. But I think that what have we done with some situations like this?
we have had some people who weren't necessarily in jail. Our probation officer, which is also the probation officer here, James Dawson, there will be people on his caseload that are very hard for him to handle, that he would normally revoke and send back to jail, but he sends them to mental health court. And there have been several people that we've been able, even for probation, to put in recovery and have them in treatment and get the services that they need without him having to revoke them and send them back to jail or prison.
But of course, when that 12 months is up, they are off probation, and we can't make them do anything. But we try to, we don't have many that do that, but we also have felonies on that. He may not think or know or have any mental health problems that are in jail now, but again, they really have to be evaluated by a professional before it's decided whether they have a mental health problem or not.
Let's say this, I don't want to be ugly when I say this or contradictory, but let's do a little more study on this from everybody's standpoint, us and the clerk and all of us. Let us all sit down, talk to Mr. Gay, and let's talk about this thing. $10,000, give it to the senior center. Give it to the senior center. Let us talk a little bit more. Let us get a little more educated on what we got going on.
Like I said, I know the grant's already started. I have to agree, Forrest. I mean, some of you have been a part of this. I know 'cause all of us couldn't do it anyway.
I think we went to the meeting at the courthouse once before.
And, but we can, like I said, we got, our clerk and our sheriff not for it. I think we need to figure out, hear their reasons and figure out if it's valid or if it's enough to keep us from doing this. $10,000 is $10,000. I mean, we just got through talking about
I
our
know
budget.
that's not chicken feed.
It's not.
And especially for Meriwether County.
That's
it's not
exactly
chicken feed.
right.
But let me just tell you this. This has been going on for a number of months. And we need to go ahead and move on this thing. And if y'all put it off again and we have another meeting and everybody talks, that $10,000, I'm sorry, but I don't believe is going to be any help. It may be some help for the senior center, but it's not going to be any help to the sheriff's department, and it's not going to be any help to the clerk's office. And she can talk to herself till she's blue in the face, but she's not going to have any work out of this office, out of this program. She's not going to have any responsibility. She's not going to have any exposure. for this program. I think y'all at least ought to try it for a year and just see. But the thing about it is this state money, we're gonna have to stop it sometime if we don't go on and do it. So I just ask y'all to please go on and make a decision.
Judge, let me ask you this. If we could continue to next session and we'll get everybody together between now and then, that would still give you some time till October the 1st, would that be satisfactory to you, sir?
Well, whatever y'all want is gonna be satisfactory.
Well, I mean,
Y'all, it's y'all's call.
for the time being, is just what I was looking at.
Yeah, well, I reckon it'll happen. If that's what y'all wanna do, that's what'll happen. We
Okay,
would
sure.
prefer others, but we gonna try to work with y'all any way you want to,
Certainly.
okay?
And thank you for your input.
All right, thank y'all for taking time to listen to me. I took more time than I intended, I apologize.
Thank you.
We're gonna go on and step out.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, since I made the statement, I guess I'll go ahead and make the motion that we continue this next session.
So moved.
Second.
That'd be the.
All in favor?
When is that?
The 25th
25th.
25th
of September.
September.
2 weeks.
All right, it's on Tuesday.
Tuesday evening.
Tuesday evening.
Yes, sir.
6 o'clock. That's already good.
Thank you, sir.
Trying to be for the clerk, that was for my schedule yesterday, my schedule.
Well, let's go ahead and, all in favor, I think we did vote on that. Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Beverly didn't get it.
Oh, okay, we did vote on it, but, Mr. Gay, would you see that that's on your?
Yes, sir. It'll be on the docket. We'll take care of that.
All right, our next item here is appointment to the DFAX from District 4, and Brian's not here today.
I'll make a motion to table.
Is there a second? All right, all in favor? So table. Appointment to the Library Board, District 5.
That's fine, I need a table, I have not been able to work that out with anybody.
We need a second. All in favor? So tabled. The next under new business, we got the proclamation for St. Paul CME Church, and I have it right here in front of me, which I will read. And I think we have several representatives from St. Paul, and we'll just meet with you in the front here in just a little bit. This proclamation is a proclamation to recognize the 150th anniversary of the St. Paul CME Church, Lone Oak, Georgia. Whereas St. Paul CME Church of the Lone Oak community in Meriwether County is celebrating its 150th anniversary, and whereas the original St. Paul CME Church was organized in another church called Prospect, and whereas around 1868 this group erected a church near Flat Creek, which began as a brush arbor church for people to gather and worship since there was no building. And whereas in 1870 the church purchased 1 acre of land on the Hogansville-Lone Oak Road and built a collaborative building, which became St. Paul Church, then later became St. Paul CME. And whereas in 1890 land was purchased in Grantville, Georgia, and a new church was built and named Lowe's Temple CME Church in honor of Reverend Wyatt Lowe, the first pastor. And whereas in 1904, the building needed many repairs, so officers and members purchased 1 acre of land on Sewell Road, Lone Oak, where they built a wood frame sanctuary in 1905. And whereas the church was destroyed by fire in 1957, and members built a new church in 1958, which first served as a sanctuary until 2001, where it became the activity room following the completion of a state-of-the-art worship sanctuary that was dedicated on September the 30th, 2001. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Meriwether County Board of Commissioners honor and congratulate St. Paul CME Church on its 150th anniversary. This will be signed by all of our commissioners. If y'all would come on up to the front and we will make this official presentation. move in the back now. Well, I know I've blocked a number of people there. Congratulations. I don't know if it's me, but it seems like we've been here about 2 days.
It's not.
All right. Number 2 under new business is Women of Faith Cancer Walk. Mr. Gay, what's on this?
Yes, sir. Chairman, Commissioners, I know there's a cancer walk every, they participate in every year. Yeah, thank you. I didn't have the attachment.
Okay.
They want to host the cancer walk on October the 6th. Walk, of course, will start at a.m. and end approximately 11 a.m. And they're requesting that one lane of Sewell Road in Grant will be blocked during this time or have a police escort. And it's going to start at the church at St. Paul CME and continue to the bridge on Sewell Road. I think that's over I-85, and then turn around and walk back to the church. And they have about 100 people. They've been doing this, well, I know the last several years, and we would recommend approval with that. They really do need to coordinate with the sheriff's office for traffic control and things of that nature. So my recommendation would be to approve it contingent upon them working out the arrangements with the,
Sure, if I can
and
add.
then we can put that on our website as well. for people to know.
Have y'all already worked this out with the sheriff's department?
No, yes, no.
I have not, okay. Well, you will need to coordinate.
Anything they say, we got here.
I think they just got it worked out.
Well, at this point, all we need is a vote for approval here.
So moved.
There's a second?
Second.
All in favor? Complete. It passed unanimously. Now, moving on, appointment of the Airport Authority District 1. That's Ms. Shirley's. Watson.
Yes, and I would say we just table
Table.
next meeting.
I move we table.
So moved.
All in favor? Water and sewage 2019 budget. Are you ready for this, Mr. Larry?
I was ready, probably at the meeting last time, but I didn't want to thank the crowd y'all had.
What's wrong? No guts?
With the rock quarry. The first page you see there is just our budget. Everything is pretty much self-explanatory. But first thing I want to mention that from behalf of all our water and sewer authority, we want to extend our thoughts and prayers to Doris.
Yes.
We're going through his problems there. And also, I want to thank Allison and Lori and Beverly and Bill and his staff for stepping up and helping out with when Doris was out. So, but the first page there is pretty much self-explanatory. We've been kind of in business about 10 years now, so every year the budget gets a little easier. The big item there, you see, the top one, $63,700 is, for our repair and maintenance. And what I've done on that second page there, if you'll just flip it over, I've just itemized what those items are. Because, and the big thing is our tank maintenance every year. And what we've done is that, that way we just pay that $21,000 a year. That way, when it comes time to paint the tank and coat it, it's done. That gets real expensive. I don't know what some of the mayors and council members here know that when you start working on it, they got above ground tank and do the maintenance on it, it gets real expensive. So more and more, we're trying to put all our systems up there on some sort of maintenance program. And that way we don't have our financial surprises that we've had over the years with some of them there. So that's our budget there, and down at the bottom of the page there, you see our bond payment is $57,000 a month. The tip and fees we received last year was $585,000 to do that. It still left us a little short, but Bill has put a line item in your budget to supplement us when we need to do that.
Right.
So that's been working out real well.
another few years down the road, we can readjust our bond again and kick the can further down the road. And that would even lower our payments again and probably allow us to maybe start using some of that typically money for some other projects. And that's done, Mr. Theron says that's done all the time with those bond
Oh,
payments.
yeah,
like
it's
that.
almost with a water system, which is constantly growing and constantly needing to borrow for expansion. You see that all the time. I mean, it's almost a continuous thing.
You know, we've done it once and, you know, we gained financial from it, so we do it again down the road. It's probably gonna take us another, 4 to 6 years paying on this bond before it's gonna be financially able to do that again.
Right.
And then we can lower the payment and or do something else with that, with the money we've been using to make those payments.
And if you look at the expansion, you need dollars for expansion maybe quicker than that.
In our last meeting last week, Pedro's gonna go ahead and start to work on 3 projects and seeking grants for those 3 projects. When we see how much grant money we get, we'll pick out which of those projects we can do. We're picking up a new sewer customer up at the industrial park. The Burger King will become our sewer customer. They'll be Hogansville's water customer because they're in Troup County, but because of where it is and adjacent to our pipe, we're actually they're funding getting the pipe back down to where we can connect to it. So we'll have a little more of a sewer system right there. So anything else to work with, you know, it's great to see that something's coming on
our side.
that side of the
That's
interstate.
right.
So,
That is good.
any questions on the budget? Okay, that's easy.
Thank you, Larry. Appreciate your presentation. Is there any approval?
I would just recommend it, like I said.
Do I hear a motion we accept the presented county water and sewer budget?
Second.
All in favor? So accepted.
Okay,
We have a side conversation. Just the conversation's going on while we're trying to take that.
Okay, I will work that in. If you would, please hold your sidebar conversations and we'll get through this as quickly as we possibly can. All right, it looks like to me, I'm sorry, Susan, what you need?
People mowing. Well, it's not just them, it's in here too, but I mean, it's just while we're talking, it's all
Chuck,
public.
take care of it. Discussion on line item number 5 there, is discussion of catch and release program.
We have Sean with us,
Yeah.
this morning.
Come on over, Sean.
Thank y'all. Just to start out, since I want to try to make this real quick and simple. Since I've been here, we've done a great deal to try to reduce the number of animals being euthanized at the shelter. We have a group called Best Friends and Fix Georgia Pets that has offered to give us a grant to get cats spayed and neutered from around the county, all over the county. I know Manchester, we have several cats. Luthersville, Woodbury, we have lots of cats. It's just basically community cats. But the problem is, they're not spayed or neutered, they don't have their rabies shots, anything else, so they're constantly reproducing more and more kittens. A cat can have up to 4 litters a year for one cat, for one female cat. Every time she has a litter, she can have anywhere from 6 to 10 kittens per litter. Okay, one male can repopulate with 40 to 50 different litters of kittens a year. So if we was to do this program, we will drop our number of cats tremendously that's coming into the shelter. But we want to end the euthanasia of healthy, treatable cats in Meriwether County. To do that, we would take them, we'd set a trap, we'd get them trapped, they'd be brought into the shelter. They would go get spayed and neutered, they'd get their ear tipped, and they'd get their rabies shot. They'd also get feline leukemia and HIV tested at the same time. If they have either of those, they will not be released back out into the public. These cats, when they go back out, they will not go to somebody's property who did not want a cat there to begin with. These cats are for people who's got community cats around, and obviously people's feeding them or they wouldn't be living this long. So this way we're just stopping on how many kittens we have coming in. This is numbers over the last 3 years that we've had come into the shelter. I don't know that all these numbers are exactly accurate as far as how many came in, how many's been euthanized. But if you'll notice in 2015 there was 949 animals that came in. 624 of them either got adopted or they got carried out on transport. We had 325 euthanized in 2015. Going down every year, 2016 was 250, 2017 we got it down a good bit, we've done 205 for the whole year. Knock on wood, we're doing pretty good this year, we're down to 100 that's been euthanized so far this year. We've only got 4 more months left in the year. Figure it out. You'll look at it, that $6,500 in 2015 that we spent on euthanizing. $5,000 in 2016. Last year we spent $4,100 on euthanizing. That's $4,100 we can put back in our budget to take care of other stuff. To do this program, it's not costing the county a dime because it's all being done by a grant from Best Friends and Fix Georgia Pets. They're giving us the grant to cover the spay neutering, the ear tipping, the rabies, and they're even giving us the money to buy 15 cat traps to do this with. And it will be a continuous grant. It's not a one-time thing. They will continually give it to us. If I have enough cats come in to spay and neuter to spend the $5,000, he'll write me a check for another one to do more spaying and neutering. And then we got other programs we'd like to look at later after going through this, but we just want to do the cat program for 6 to 8 months or so, see how it works, see how people feel about it. But again, I want to stress, a lot of people feel like when we do something like this, that we're just going to take that cat and drop it wherever. But we're not. The way it's going to work is they will come pick up the trap from the shelter, they'll set the trap, they'll bring the trap back to us. We're going to do transports on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursdays of every week to take them, get them spayed neutered. They'll come back, they'll sign a card at the shelter that says that they are willing to have this cat back in the property, in the area on the property, and that they will help make sure that food's out there for the cats and stuff. If we have a cat in an area where nobody wants that cat, we have several farms around the county that have agreed that they will take this cat as a barn cat. And one reason I've been working so hard on trying to get this going, I have people calling constantly that they have cats. We took 40 cats just from Woodbury that were just cats roaming around. Because you have so many people out there who want to take care of that cat, and then next thing you know, that cat turns into 10 more, into 10 more, into 10 more. So the public, you'll have some people from the public that's going to say, no, this is a bad idea, because they don't fully understand exactly how everything's going to work. Right now you have those cats out there anyway reproducing. They have no rabies shot. They've had nothing done to them as far as vaccines, any tests, anything. And it has now been tested and proven that when you give a cat, a stray cat, a vaccine for rabies, it can now be inoculated for 5 to 7 years. They have tithers, and the tithers are high enough for 5 to 7 years to keep them from being exposed to rabies as a stray cat. So that's been proven. Right now, we got them running around with no rabies shots. As we all know, we've had issues with rabies in the county anyway. At least this way, we know these cats are getting some rabies shots where they are protected against it. You're not going to have a straight community cat, for the most part, that's going to live more than 5 to 7 years anyway. Again, the cost for picking up, normally, I mean, like I said, we get calls. Luckily, we don't normally do a whole lot of cat calls. That's the way it's been in the county forever. But we have a lot of people calling complaining about it. If we went out and picked up every cat that we got a call for, y'all could add a whole lot more to our budget. But because we don't, we've been able to save for that. But this way, we'll be able to make citizens happier by not having so many cats and kittens. They're humanely trapped, they're spayed, neutered, ear tipped, vaccinated, and released back out. It reduces the amount of euthanasias we do, it improves public health, and it gives us access to a lot of other grants by having this program. We get a lot of other grants from Best Friends and Target Zero and several others. This shows some numbers for Fulton County and DeKalb County. They started this program several years ago. They've done it. They're amazed at the amount of animals that they've taken in, the decrease that they've taken in. Carroll County has this program, DeKalb has this program, Fulton has this program. Coweta County started this program, the Humane Society did, they do it. Several counties around us have started this program, and it's helped so much in those areas. Any questions?
Sounds like a win-win.
It does.
Commissioner Threadgill, he and I have talked about it. He was, when the man from Fix Georgia Pets came and met with me and offered to give us money. He went over all part of money and how to do as far as future money and stuff like that. And he seemed to have been good with it, so with y'all's permission, I'd like to go ahead and tell the man that we'll accept his grant and start the program. With getting everything in order, I would say it would be around the 1st of November before we ever started it. Before we started the program, I'd like to go to the city council meetings in all the cities around and explain the program to everybody there. That way everybody understands exactly how it works. I'd be willing to go to the Lions Club, to the Kiwanis, stuff like that, and explain that way more people in the community know what the program actually is, how it works, and how much it's going to help this county by doing that.
So you need us to accept the grant and approve the program.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner, do I hear a motion?
This will be for cats, so.
Right now, it's for cats only, and it's county-wide. It's not just like in the past where it's just been this or that. City of Manchester, we don't do a whole lot with the animals in the city of Manchester, but those cats will actually be available to go to this program too.
Sure.
So this is going to help the city of Manchester. We're in talks of, after we do this and we see how well it works, he's got some other programs he's going to get us into to do county dogs around the county that they can't afford to get a spay and neuter. That way we can decrease some of that. They're also talking about in the future, we'll be able to do some vaccine clinics, and they'll get us grants to get vaccine clinics to help some of that dogs that's not getting vaccines and stuff like they need.
But this is just the program.
Right now, this one is just cats.
Okay. Thank you, Sean. I have a motion on the floor to proceed. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? So carries. Number 6, 2018 County Ad Valorem Tax Digest. We just did this last week.
Yeah, we did. I just want to let you guys know that we had received the letter back from the Georgia Department of Revenue that the digest was found to be in proper order, it comes with all necessary documents, and therefore they approved it for collection. So I want to let you guys know that.
Appreciate that. The establishment of a court-appointed special advocate, the CASA program.
Yes, sir. This is a program that Judge Scott came to see me about, and it's really for information only for the board because the juvenile court can establish it. This is a program that's been very successful in other locations, and what you have is you have a group of the court-appointed special advocates, and what they do is they advocate for a child in the event of juvenile case that, because a lot of times the children are there because they've not had a lot of guidance and everything in their lives. And this is just, a program to have adults be able to, provide assistance. Sometimes they get a court-appointed attorney, and the adult's able to work with them and try to, be sure the rights of the child are protected in the proceedings. This does not cost the county anything truly. It is done solely volunteer. Anything they need, the judge will take care of. And this program works in Coweta. In fact, Coweta CASA is the one that wants to expand it into Meriwether. It's been a very, very good program there. And I would certainly, applaud the judge for bringing this program into Meriwether. And I really just put it on here where you guys would know that that's going to be a program that's going to be good.
I guess my next item is discussion of extension of moratorium of application for road closure.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, we had a moratorium and still have one on the application for road closures, but it's going to expire here very soon. And with everything else we've had going on, just not had a chance to sit down, and Susan and I, work on that program. So I'd like to ask you guys to extend that to December the 31st of this year. And in doing so, that'll give us plenty of time. If we can complete that in the interim, we'll come back and ask you guys to consider it and adopt it, and then we can release a moratorium at that point. But right now, we still want to have that moratorium in place until we can get that criteria together.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Okay.
So carries.
Thank y'all.
The other item is number 9 that you asked us to put here, and this is the extended moratorium for construction near Lake Meriwether. Is this something we still need to continue?
We still need to continue this because we've not had an opportunity to address that, and it has to do with location of the buffers and being sure everybody understands what the buffers are before they they go out and try to build, because it's not, they don't have any ownership in the lake. So I would just ask that we extend that moratorium to December 31st as well. That'll allow us time to address both of those issues.
Commissioners need an extension.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? So passes.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess there's nothing here in addition to what you've already done with the budget as far as the financial report.
No, sir, we don't have that today.
Then I'm up to your county commissioner report.
Yes, sir.
County
It's been
administrator report.
it's been a busy period. We have a lot of things going. We're trying to get the big out. The big advertisement will be in the paper this Friday. And I'm going to finish those documents up this afternoon and have those ready to go. We'll also mail out a copy probably on Friday to the contractors that we've used in the past, the ones that have asked to be included. The only thing that's still need to do is to work up the quantities and everything on the city projects that are there, and then everything else is ready to go. So we've been working on that. The landfill, the August report for the methane monitoring and landfill shows everything is fine within the parameters. I attended the airport authority meeting, and we're still trying to come up with how to get off center on moving forward with our projects there. We've got some ideas, and we're going to be meeting and working on that. SPLOST, we received a letter from SPLOST from the Department of Revenue indicating that it's set to expire at certain things that we need to look at either renewal and ask us that we send them the balance, which you guys have already put that out, and it's already on the ballot, and that will be up for vote. We will be working, I've talked to Skip and Brent, we'll be working on a PowerPoint presentation here very soon. So if there are any civic clubs, any church groups, any community groups that would like us to come and speak, please let me know, and we'll be happy to go, and we'll show what we have done, what our plans are for the upcoming year. With that, like I said, I've been very, very busy on a lot of different items. So that's quite a hectic time.
Appreciate that, Mr. Gaines. Appreciate the job you do. Mr. Brett.
I don't have anything.
I have a few items here. We had our Lake Meriwether meeting last night, and just to give you a quick progress report, there's a lot going on there at the lake. If you haven't been down and seen some of the things that's taking place, including the gate, the dock, the extension of the electrical, we're still within our budget of the grant, and work is proceeding on the trail. We're going to be, Danny will actually be starting to put down some decking, I think, here shortly with the scouts, all the substructures in for that. So we've got more things happening and going on, which really looks good. Miss Carolyn is on our case to be very mindful of December the 31st, in which we're trying our best to keep everything between the ditches there. So, like I said, there's a lot going on out there. So, I appreciate the work that those folks do.
I did find some templates for we can use for our handicap trail.
Yes.
I found the templates. I'm going to see if we can get those maybe any cheaper. If not, we'll order those up, and then we can do some painting, and we can park on the trail.
One other item I'm going to bring up, September 30th at 4 p.m., we're going to have a dedication of our flagpole out there at Lake Meriwether. It was a Eagle Scout project, and it will be recognizing Mr. Charles Neely, and that will be at 4 p.m. September the 30th. You can drop by. One quick thing I'm going to mention, I'd be remiss if I didn't do this. I have tried to keep up with all my road complaints and right-of-ways and what have you, but it seems like, Tyrell, they've really intensified here toward the end of the summer, so we're getting more of those, but I do think I've turned all those over to you, so. I don't know, it just seems like there's just quite a few people out there that are just really concerned about the roads at this time. That's all I have. Commissioner Hadley?
I have a couple of things. We need to remember that the last Saturday in this month, the 29th, is Keep Meriwether Beautiful. Miss Jane could not be here today, but, you know, get you a team together, plan to pick up litter, trash, you know, around your neighborhood, on your roads, or you can volunteer to man a dumpster where we can try to keep some sense of order about what's going in the dumpsters and that kind of thing, or we'll have tire collection again, so there'll just be a lot going on. There'll be more details about that in the papers in the next couple of weeks. In Warm Springs on October the 13th will be the 18th annual Harvest Hoedown. So put that on your calendar. It'll be a good day to be in Warm Springs. And just one other thing I wanted to mention, last Thursday, Miss Jane and I had the opportunity to tour what we thought was going to be all of Meriwether County, which turned out to be a small portion of Meriwether County, with a film location scout. And I just want to express my appreciation to Bill Nash. He is a part-time employee with the Meriwether County Sheriff's Office. But he took us to places that we had no idea existed in our county. He had, previous to us going, he had already made contact with property owners, gotten their permission to talk with film scouts, to allow filming. He had contact names, information. I just cannot believe the details that he went into to have all of this ready for us. And again, we had planned to cover the entire county, and we covered a very small portion, but we have a lot to offer. As you know, Georgia is third for filming in the country right now, and even last year, they actually upped California and New York. But Georgia continues to offer great tax incentives. And the location scout we're working with also is employed by the Legacy Film Ranch, which is here in Meriwether County. So all of that together, I think, is going to bring some more filming to our county. And just in the last 2 weeks, we've had 2 major movies to contact us about locations. And right now, it looks like that both of them may at least film something here. So good things are happening on the film front, and just appreciate, like I said, again, Mr. Nash sharing what he knows. I hope he's passing on that knowledge to someone else, and somebody's listening and writing it down, because a lot of that history and things will be lost one day if somebody's not taking that up. But we do appreciate him spending a large part of his day with us to share what he does know. And that's it. Thank you.
Susan?
We have need for hopefully a brief executive session to discuss litigation and real estate. That's it.
Can we add personnel too?
Personnel, add personnel.
Just hold your sword. Let me see then. We do have need for an executive session. Choose that period of time for public comment. Anybody?
Just want to mention, we had about 70 people at our first responders.
Appreciate you doing that.
Monday night, and, you know, with this great thing, you know, past 2 years, we partnered up with the Sonic Lodge. Those guys know how to do it.
Yes, we do.
Let me follow up with that. The hospital in Warm Springs also did a luncheon yesterday for first responders, and I understand they had a pretty good turnout as well. So 2 opportunities to recognize those who do so much for us every day.
Any further? Okay. We do have a need for executive session. Let me go ahead and reach and get the future meeting. September 25th, 2018 is a work session. Has been postponed. Thank goodness. September 25th, 2018 at 6 p.m. will be our regular meeting. At this time, do I hear a motion we go into executive session?
So,
Is there a second?
second.
All in favor? We're in executive session.
What day is that?